Alright, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Reckless Abandon Tarot. We are here. We're about to do the reading for the mid-season for Libra season. So, the second half of Libra season. We're going to see what energies are coming through here. I hope you guys have been having a good Libra season so far. We're not going to do too much with the intro here, but I definitely ask before we start, definitely give me a like, because that really helps out with my videos. I know that I have some people who support and really enjoy watching my videos, but they don't like, and that really, it's really a huge disservice for me because my videos don't get any traction when you don't like and participate. So if you want to support me, definitely give me a like. That's the easiest thing you can do. Comment down below, share this if you feel like it's useful for other people. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start pulling the spread here. We're gonna do the tarot messages and the messages from the animal spirits. As always, we are going to start off with the 6 tarot messages, and then we'll pull more as needed while we go through the positions. And then at the very end, we're going to pull the animal spirit cards as a way to just wrap up the reading. So we're going to go ahead and pull the cards for the tarot spread for the second half of Libra season. Let's see what is coming through for us and how we are navigating this time. So we've got the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, Judgment, the Sun in the reverse. Lots of majors here. Feels like Libra season, especially coming into the second half, is pretty big, pretty large energies. What else is coming through here? Six of Cups reverse, King of Wands. The last energy, let's see. Ace of Pentacles. Okay, we're going to start here with these cards and get into this interpretation for the second half of Libra season. All right, so we're going to be starting off first and foremost with this Wheel of Fortune in the reverse as the main energy that we're stepping into the second half of Libra season. This card usually comes up with messages regarding to timing. When I usually see the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, it feels like the timing's not right, or there's a need to let go of a sense of control. But yeah, this obviously represents the natural ebbs and flows of life. Sometimes you're in a more high period and sometimes you're in a more low period. But then also, there's sometimes where you have to kind of just like take your hands off of the wheel and let the universe cook a little bit. So, seeing this Wheel of Fortune and also already seeing this Ace of Pentacles at the end of the spread, it definitely feels like the second half of Libra season, we are being asked to kind of, surrender a little bit and be aware of the limits of our, personal efforts. There's only so much that we can do ourselves until we just have to kind of let the universe do what it does, So let's see what else is coming through with this Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Why the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse? For us, the second half of Libra season. Two of Pentacles. Okay. So this is about being able to, know exactly where or what is the correct thing to invest our time and our energy into, right? With the Two of Pentacles, obviously there is a new seed that wants to be planted in order for us to develop a sense of security, safety, stability, possibly developing resources or, something in regards to like family or your personal health and personal values. Feels like we're doing this like juggling thing, where we're not fully committing to either direction. And because of that, neither of these things really has the time or effort needed to grow, So I often bring forward when the Two of Pentacles or even the Two of Swords comes up, that there are emotional shifts that are going on that are really causing us to be in this position to begin with, right? So because we're not fully acknowledging the emotions that are occurring here, it really feels like we are kind of in this, not quite yo-yoing, but this like back and forth, 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of energy where we're not fully committing to either direction, you know? So this is an interesting combination here with this Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, because with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, it feels like we need to take our hands off of the wheel, right? But then also, you know, we've got we're trying to decide between two directions, you know? So I feel like the combination so far is really telling me that, you know, before we make a complete choice in either one of these directions, there is some type of liminal waiting period that needs to really come through and show us cards, so to say. You know, it's almost like you don't know until you know. I'm curious what's on the bottom of the deck here. Yeah, there's a Nine of Swords in the reverse on the bottom of the deck, so there's definitely a lot of thought that's going on here. Could be overthinking, but I like the reversal because, you know, there's a less it kind of tempers that energy of like anxiety, you know, and stress. So it feels like we're trying to plan something, we're trying to figure something out. We're not quite sure where exactly we're planting the seed just yet, but, you know, there is a need to kind of sit with these decisions and sit with the emotions that are occurring right now, that are, you know, informing this need to kind of decide. All right, so moving forward to the healing energy, this is how we are processing and using our energy at this time. We've got the Judgment card coming through. So whenever I see the Judgment card, I always ask, you know, what's your secret? Because it always reminds me of like the skeletons in the closet, or, you know, the parts of self that you bury so far down deep so nobody can see it. Possibly, you know, because those parts of us were judged, like literally with the Judgment card. Or, you know, there's some way that, you know, the external society does not quite value those parts of ourselves, so we hide them in order for us to feel accepted, right? In order to not be ostracized. So, you know, at this time during the second half of Libra season, this is a reckoning. You know, there is a authentic part of self that is really asking to be acknowledged. You know what I mean? It's coming back because it wants to be incorporated. It wants to be integrated. You know, I see this Judgment card here, and I already see this Sun card in the reverse next, where this is really about your authenticity, you know? And when it's in the reverse, you're not quite being true. You're not quite being completely vulnerable and completely in alignment with just who you are, despite what society might think or say about that or feel about that, you know? So with this Judgment card coming through for the healing position, this is really asking us to dig deep and to give a little bit more time and attention to the parts of us that we've kind of been hiding. You know, we've kind of felt like it was not safe to express. What else is coming through with the Judgment card here for the healing position? The Star in the reverse. Very, very, very interesting. And this last card that flew out here is the Ace of Swords. So this is curious, right? Because I definitely feel like there is insight that is coming through with this Ace of Swords. You know, swords is your thoughts, perception, communication, information, how you create meaning out of the world. And so the Ace of Swords, new perspective, new thought, new way of communicating, right? But then the Star card in the reverse, it's a very interesting card because whenever I see this, it reminds me of Mulan. And the song in the movie, Reflection, where she asks, when will my reflection show who I am inside, right? So the Star also has to do with like a sense of healing. It also has to do with your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. And it could also be related to like community and, you know, the people that you surround yourself with that have similar, you know, dreams, goals as you, that, you know, possibly are there to help support you moving closer towards that and achieving that, right? So when I see the Star card in the reverse, it definitely feels like there is a challenge, feeling faithful or hopeful that you are, I guess, aligning with how you ideally like identify within yourself. And that doesn't have to do anything with like social identities the way that they are, you know, in whatever part of the world that you live. But there is a part of yourself that's authentic that, you know, really influences like your dreams and your wishes for your life, right? And your ideals for your life. So when you're having the star in the reverse, you know, you're feeling like you're not moving towards that, or that your external experience is not reflecting your internal truth, your internal identity, and, you know, values and dreams and how you want to live life. So back to the song Reflection, when my reflections show who I am inside, there is a way that our external reality reflects a part of our internal systems, or our internal or personal ways that we are, you know, handling ourselves. So I often tell people, if you're feeling, you know, restriction or pressure or some type of oppositional energy from outside of you, what part of you on the inside is, you know, drawing this in? You know, gosh, what example can I have, or can I put forward with this? Let's see. I don't know. I want to bring forward an example in regards to vulnerability, and sometimes how when we want to, when we feel like we're not being completely seen or accepted for who we are, but then we realize we're not actually expressing ourselves authentically. You know, there could be a part of yourself that you're holding back, and because of that, you're not being seen as how you want to be seen. You know, so that's kind of the energy of this star card in the reverse, where there is some part of us that is mirroring the challenge in our external experience. And I feel like, you know, with this Ace of Swords coming through, that could be a new, or like, yeah, there could be clarity coming through for us in that regards, on how we've been holding ourselves back, on how we've been creating our external circumstances because we haven't been true to ourselves, like internally, right? So that's what's coming through here with the healing position. Like, there is a authentic part of self that is coming through that kind of needs to be integrated, reconciled, expressed right now, so that we can actually shift our experience externally in the way that we desire it to be. Moving forward to the sunlight position, we have the sun card in the reverse. This is our possible achievements and successes we have to look forward to for the second half of Libra season. So, you know, with this coming through in the reverse, I definitely want to pull more cards, because this is really about our authenticity, being accepted, being completely seen as who we are. You know, I often talk about the original imagery within the sun card, and the child is typically like naked, and that really emphasizes this sense of vulnerability, you know, and just being like completely authentic. So the reversal here oftentimes is referred to as the half-hearted happiness card, where, you know, on the outside things look great, you know, but you're not quite feeling happy with the circumstance. So I want to see what else is coming through, and why the sun card is coming through in the reverse here for the sunlight, and possible, you know, achievements and successes that we can look forward to for the second half of Libra season. So why the sun in the reverse here? Six of Wands. I think that was the moon card, y'all. Okay, yeah, that was the moon. So we have the sun and the moon and the Six of Wands. Okay, so I think this is interesting, having the sun and the moon come out, because we do have a full moon during the second half of Libra season in Aries, which is about our identity. You know, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's very, I don't want to say self-centered, but it is very concerned with its self-autonomy and being able to do things on its own terms. So I think this really might be what this is for us at this moment, where in the sunlight position, having the sun in the reverse and the moon card coming through, there are some subconscious feelings coming through in regards to being able to show up as yourself and be accepted in that way. And we also have the Six of Wands here, which is kind of echoing similar energy to the Sun card, where this is about being seen, being accepted, being cheered on, and kind of like being victorious, right? Usually when the Six of Wands comes up, there is a sense of like being seen here. That could be, I don't want to say that it can cause anxiety because this is upright, you know. When the Six of Wands comes through upright, people are really cheering you on. You know, people are really seeing you how you want to see, how you want them to see you, and they are affirming kind of that success within you, you know. So I think for us, there could be a subconscious need to feel like you have that external validation or that external affirmation in order to feel like you're actually being seen or you're actually, you know, appreciated or validated. But I think what needs to kind of shift is being able to validate yourself within yourself and within what you're doing and what you're passionate about, right? The Sun, Wands, fire energy. Fire energy is how you want to take action, what you're passionate about, what you love, what's fun. I think what's more important is the fun. You know, it's not really about people thinking that you're so talented or people, you know, affirming your expression and what you're doing. I really feel like it's about just being in alignment with what you want to do and who you are in general, whether or not people like that or not, whether or not people are going to affirm that or not. You know, this Judgment card, there's definitely some part of self that has been held back. And because of that, I feel like a lot of us are experiencing this Sun in the reverse energy where you're being affirmed for an inauthentic performance of who you are, you know? And that's nice, you know what I mean? It's always nice to be affirmed. It's always nice to be cheered on and to be applauded. But if it's not actually you, then you're not really going to feel that in a meaningful and sustainable way. You know, Sun in the reverse, the Star in the reverse. You have to be showing up as yourself at all moments. One, to be in alignment with who you are and really, you know, be enjoying like your path in life and your decisions that you've made and where you want to go. Sorry, y'all. But also, you know, when you are showing up completely as yourself, you are going to attract the people who are within that same resonance, who are within that same vibrational energy. So instead of being affirmed for performance, you end up being affirmed for your authenticity. And it's much more meaningful because it's you. It's actually you. So I feel like that is the sunlight or the possible achievement we have for the second half of Libra season, where it's literally realizing where we have been holding ourselves back and where we have been, you know, kind of performing for validation rather than, you know, just being ourselves and receiving the affirmation for our authentic expression and our authentic desires. So moving forward, we are going to go to the grounding position, which is coming up as the Six of Cups in the reverse here. So whenever I see the Six of Cups, you know, it makes me think about the past. It's a very nostalgic card, and we do also have the moon here. So, you know, more messages in regards to like past influences. Cups is your heart space, is what you need to feel supported, fulfilled, and nurtured. And then, you know, with the Six of Cups, this could be about like childhood and the past. So, you know, whenever I see the Six of Cups, it makes me think of our childhood nurturing, how we were nurtured and how we were not nurtured. And so the Six of Cups in the reverse is definitely showing me an energy more so of feeling like you did not receive a particular nurturing, you know, when you were a child or, you know, just in the past in general, right? So what more does the Six of Cups in the reverse have to say about our grounding influence for the second half of Libra season? We'll have the Six of Cups in the reverse here. The Two of Swords. Okay, this is what I was talking about, right? Earlier when I was talking about the Two of Pentacles, like the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Swords really has similar energy to me. where the Two of Swords is kind of caught between two, like a decision, possibly a decision that needs to be made, or two logical perspectives, but that, kind of clash with each other. It really feels like a black and white way of thinking, like this is correct and this is not correct, or I can do this and I can't do this, I can say this and I can't say this. Those types of like logic and truths are subjective, whereas your emotional space and the emotional like shifts that are occurring, that's the only actual truth. That's the only truth that can't lie, So when I see the Two of Swords, I often tell people, you have to step away from that over logical way of trying to process and decision make, and really sit into your heart space and your emotions so that you can make decisions that are in alignment with what you actually care about, not be making decisions and moving towards things that you feel like you are supposed to care about, or you should be caring about. Seeing this combination with the Two of Swords and the Six of Cups in the reverse for our grounding energy, this is really interesting because it feels like, for particular people, there's a way that in your past or in your childhood, there are things that you didn't receive. So when you become an adult, you try to give yourself all of those things. And, I feel like the message is kind of that there's a level of discernment that needs to go in here with this Six of Cups in the reverse and this Two of Swords, because it really feels like we could be longing for something that we didn't receive in the past, but it might not be actually available in that specific way in the present, because I'm seeing this underneath this Wheel of Fortune reverse and these Two of Pentacles, which are very practical, which are very grounded in like material reality. But I'm seeing this Wheel of Fortune in the reverse asking us to kind of like let go of control. It could be that you're still trying so bad to create this type of nurturing that was missed in your past, and you might have a very tangible or material idea of what this was, of what you didn't receive. So this could be a specific message for just a few people, but it feels like within your past there was a material, tangible thing that you didn't get, and that disappointment you're kind of confusing with what you need now. So it's like in the present you try so hard to create or move towards this material thing, not even realizing that this thing isn't really what made you sad, or it's not really what is going to undo this kind of pain from childhood. I just need another message here. Anything else that we need to see here for the grounding energy? This Ace of Cups. Okay, yeah. This is asking us to really pay attention to your emotions and your heart space and what you genuinely need, what's genuinely meaningful for you to feel supported and nurtured, Because I feel like with this type of energy here, it's asking you to kind of accept what you didn't receive in the past and really focus on what is fulfilling you and pouring into your cup in this present moment, because it's not about the material thing. It's not about this tangible thing. It's really just about feeling safe and feeling nurtured and feeling loved. And material things don't provide that, You can't really cuddle your bank account, So that's what I'm seeing for the grounding type of energy, in regards to decision making and knowing whether or not you want to, when it comes to decision making and being discerning on what you are committing your time and your energy to, because you could be trying so hard for these tangible things because you feel like it's going to heal you emotionally, and it's just not that at all. You really need to be focused on your feelings, and what is going to make you feel satisfied. So moving forward to the Serenity position, this is how we can cultivate more peace during the second half of Libra season. And we are starting off with this King of Wands. So more fire energy. I think it's funny to have a fire energy in regards to cultivating peace, because fire is so confident and in your face and, fast. That doesn't really seem peaceful all the time. But, with the King of Wands in particular, there is something that they desire to express and desire to put forward. And they desire to be the best, kind of. They definitely desire to be acknowledged for their talent, for their skill, for their charisma and passion. But yeah, there is something that's very authentic about this King of Wands. He really is doing what he wants to do at the best of his ability. So what more can we see with this King of Wands here for the Serenity position, how we can cultivate more peace? Why the King of Wands here? The Six of Swords. We've got 3 sixes so far, and I really feel like this is taking us to a former self. This is the Six of Swords. This oftentimes comes up when you're trying to move on from a sort of mental instability or mental chaos, for lack of a better word. Usually, the example that I like to put forward with the Six of Swords is like, say you were worried about your finances, but you're like, okay, well, if I don't look at my bank account, then I don't have to worry about it, that can happen a lot with the Six of Swords type of energy. But I feel like with the Six of Swords and this King of Wands here for the peace, for how you can cultivate more peace, the Six of Swords is asking us to really keep an eye on those things that we would rather just avoid, because we don't want to have the mental insecurity. If you are acting on those things, in the moment, the way that your body wants you to act on them, I really feel like that allows us to kind of just remain present in most of the situations coming through with the second half of Libra season. I feel like with the Six of Swords, also with the Six of Cups in the reverse, the Six of Wands, and the Judgment card, there is a past thing, a past desire, a past expression that wants attention now. And I feel like, this King of Wands here is just allowing themselves to do it wholeheartedly, allowing themselves to just act on those things that they never got to act on, or say those things they never got to say, or express those things they never got to express. That really is such a beautiful energy to tap into in order to kind of be in a flow state, and to remove yourself from kind of like self-doubt in regards to your actions and, what you desire to do for yourself and how you desire to move towards that. It's on the bottom here, the Hierophant. Yeah, with the Hierophant on the bottom, this is about societal norms, societal convention, some type of like external wisdom or knowledge. So let's see. In regards to this King of Wands and the Six of Swords with this Hierophant card on the bottom, part of me feels like this is going two ways, right? Where for some of you, it's like there is a conventional way of doing things that you have been not wanting to do and not wanting to engage with that you need to now. And for others, there is, this conventional way that you've always been doing things, and you've been ignoring the way that you want to do things that you have to, embrace at this moment. So yeah, it can go two ways. Like, some of you are finally taking action in a conventional way, and some of you are finally taking action in an authentic way that, has nothing to do with the traditional ways or outline for doing something. So that's what I see for the Serenity, how we can cultivate more peace at this time. So this last position is the message from Spirit, or best advice with using our energy moving forward. And it's coming through with this Ace of Pentacles. So it's showing me that opportunity is there. You know, there is a chance for us to commit to something new, but we have to really show up for it and nurture that so that it can grow to its fullest potential. I usually, you know, bring forward with the aces, there's always like this disembodied hand that's kind of holding out this new opportunity, and it's really up to us to reach out and take that, especially when it's an Ace of Pentacles. This is something tangible. This is something physical. You know, this represents the birth or the beginning, like planting the seed moment. You know, you plant the seed and then you water it so that you can have this growth. I will say too, you know, with the metaphor of planting seeds, a lot of the growth happens, you know, underground where you can't see it. So you have to show up for it even if you're not seeing the results immediately right away. What else can we see with this Ace of Pentacles here? Let's have some more messages, more advice from Spirit for the second half of Libra season. All right. High Priestess. Page of Wands reverse. Okay. So with the High Priestess, this is about your intuition. You know, that Hierophant card was on the bottom of the deck in the last position, which represents external knowledge and external wisdom. The High Priestess is about internal wisdom, internal knowledge, you know, faith and trust in what's guiding you energetically, you know, trusting where your body wants to move naturally. I think there are opportunities coming through for us, and it's up to us right now to just, one, be present within ourselves, to know whether or not it's worth committing our time and our energy to. You know, with the Page of Wands, this always reminds me of like a dog with a stick and just being so excited to have this new thing or take a chance on this new activity, creative endeavor. The reversal definitely shows an aversion to like failure or embarrassing yourself, or, you know, not being as cool or as talented as other people. But usually when I see this, I'm like, do it scared, you know? It's like you don't know until you know. And, you know, obviously with the Page, this is a younger energy, so it's kind of being in that like beginner mindset, you know? So it could be hard to feel like a Page of Wands when you are a King of Wands, you know? So it feels like for us at this time, second half of Libra season, we're feeling called with this High Priestess really to take a chance on this new opportunity. And it feels like we're scared. You know, we're scared of not doing it right. We're scared of failing. But there is some type of like internal wisdom, soul wisdom, that is really coming up and is telling you that this is the time, like this is the right thing, you know? On the bottom of the deck, there is a Four of Swords. So, you know, I like this, honestly, with the Page of Swords, not Page of Swords, but the Page of Wands in the reverse. And also the Wheel of Fortune that was in the reverse at the very beginning. The Four of Swords is kind of the mental rest, meditation, relaxation type of card. It's like when you're having to like sleep over a decision. I really feel like there is an internal process that is going on within us that is not so, you know, external and so visible on the outside. But with the shifts that are occurring, definitely for the second half of Libra season, and the, you know, opportunities that are coming up that you are getting ready to like invest your time and your energy into, like, it feels like you can take this slow. You know what I mean? You can ease into this shift right now, because there is very much so a limit to your personal energy that you can put into this, you know? Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, like, sometimes it's about, you know, not having the right timing, but then also it could be about, you know, taking your hand off the wheel, you know, and letting Jesus take the wheel, or letting the universe cook, as I like to say sometimes, you know? So, yeah, in regards to this, it definitely feels like, a lot of us are really hesitant to go and commit to this thing that we feel like is just right, But I would say with this Page of Wands in the reverse, definitely try. Trying is the biggest thing. At least try. And while you're trying, sit, really get present with how you're feeling in this process, And if it's not sitting with you emotionally, then it's not right, But if you feel good, if it feels authentic, then go for it, I really feel like there is an inner trust and a soul wisdom that we can really lean into at this moment. You have the High Priestess, you have the Moon, you have the Star card, you have the Judgment card. There is definitely an authentic, energetic pull towards what is correct for us that we can trust right now if we can sit long enough to feel it. So that's the tarot message for the second half of Libra season. I love this through the tarot. It's a realignment, it's an energetic realignment and committing to that realignment. So now we're going to get 2 messages from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirits, and let's see what energy is coming out that we need to know or be aware of or possibly embody for the second half of Libra season. So, Spirit, let's have some messages here. We got the Wolf, and then we also have the Lizard. Alright, so I'm going to pull the booklet. Before I pull the booklet, I'm kind of just going to move all these things a little bit, just so that they may be a little bit easier visible. You can kind of see everything going on here. Alright, so we are going to start off with the Wolf and see what the Wolf has to say. So, the Wolf, guardian of family and tribe, activism, ritual. The Wolf's mission is to uphold the well-being and longevity of the pack. Healthy wolf energy expresses itself through activism, mentorship, humanitarian efforts, or teaching, religious or political studies. The wolf gets into trouble when it assumes every member of the tribe must follow suit. This includes children walking in their parents' footsteps. Although it will surely be uncomfortable at first, practicing tolerance helps balance out agitated wolf energy. Contemplate the following: embrace all, exclude none. When in balance, it's reliable, democratic, and fearless. When out of balance, it's judgmental and dominating. To bring it to balance, practice letting go. Okay, so the practice letting go is really sticking out to me, but then also it said the wolf gets in trouble when it assumes every member of the tribe must follow suit. This includes children walking in their parents' footsteps. I feel like that's what this is, It's like there was a past thing, a past value, a past goal that you've been working towards that wasn't about you. You know what I mean? It was something that your parents wanted. It wasn't your value. It wasn't your goal. But you were doing it because that was what provided nurture. You know what I mean? That's what provided acceptance. But it's not real for you. So now is the time to practice letting go of what you think you're supposed to be doing and feel into what your body actually wants to do, where your body actually wants to go, what's the actual authentically exciting thing for you that has nothing to do with goals that were put onto you, through society or through family, or anything like that. It's your time now to kind of create your own meaning out of your direction and out of life, and trust that, and take a chance on that. So that you can truly feel aligned with who you are and what you're doing. So then we're going to move on to the Lizard and see what the Lizard has to say. I feel like I pulled this card a lot. Let's see. Okay. Lizard. Instinctual, sensitive to the subtle, dreamer. The lizard is an expert in the realm of sensory perception. As if it has a sixth sense, the lizard hears what is yet to be spoken and sees what is yet to manifest. Although this is an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, lots of travel, or overstimulation will drain a lizard of their magical essence. This card is an indication to pull back from the bright lights and big city and return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name. When in balance, it's artistic, telepathic, and spiritual. When out of balance, it's elusive, non-committal, and flaky. To bring into balance, a creative project. Okay, so where I'm seeing this is really touching on like that sixth sense and that sensitivity to the subtle, which is really coming up with this High Priestess, this Moon card, this Star card as well. You know, there is a inner soul wisdom, soul truth that lives within all of us that really is what really should be acknowledged and prioritized as a source for your guiding principles for your life and how you navigate that, right? It also says when out of balance, it's elusive, non-committal, and flaky. That's exactly what these are, you know? And we get into these positions when we are feeling pulled between what we want and who we are and what society wants of us, or what we think that we're supposed to show up for as a member of society, as a person, as a human within this world. You know, it's feeling torn between who you are, what you want to do, and who the world wants you to be. And this is the time now for the second half of Libra season to shift that, to put that perspective on its head and really take a chance on actually moving towards things that you feel like you want to move towards, rather than, you know, the societal definition of value or happiness or anything like that. All of that is subjective. Everybody is completely different. And your path in this life is completely your own. And I really, truly feel like, you know, once more people are using their inner truth as their guiding principles, you can really live such a more like soulful, wholesome, enjoyable life where all parts of you get to be lifted and you don't have to hide anything. You know what I mean? You don't have to put anything in the closet or bury it down just to get some type of fake, you know, affirmation. Like, all that's bullshit. Excuse my French. But this life truly is your own. So if you want to shine and feel happy and feel aligned with who you are and your dreams and your wishes, it's time to take that chance on yourself and what you know your body wants to move towards. So that's the message that I've got for the second half of Libra season. Let me know how this is resonating with you. Definitely give me a like if you like this message. Comment down below anything you know have to say, how your first half of Libra season went, and you know what you are getting ready to commit to for the second half of Libra season. Yeah, subscribe if you want to follow for more readings in the future, and definitely share if you feel like this will be helpful for somebody else. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for checking out this video. I really hope this was meaningful for you. Just letting y'all know that there will be probably live readings for the Aries full moon on October 6th. We'll likely be going live on my Instagram page, and I will try to do some filmed content for all signs, pre-recorded film content for all signs, Aries through Pisces, for the full moon, but we'll see. All right, I'm getting out of here. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.